Vision is an online portal webinar series hosted by Father Muller Homeopathic Medical College, Mangalore. It is a platform provided for homeopathic practitioners and students all over the India to enhance their knowledge by listening to the stalwarts of homeopathy. This webinar series will be continued up to 4th of August 2020. It's my privilege to welcome our administrator, Reverend Father Roshan Krasta, Principal Dr. Shivprasad K, Vice Principal Dr. ESJ Prabhukiran for this session today. I also welcome the speaker for today's session, Dr. Shripad Hegde, who is here to speak on the topic Qualitative Research on Anemia in Patients with Diabetes Mellitus. I welcome the moderator for today's session, Dr. M.K. Kamath, Professor HOD of Department of Medicine, Father Muller Homeopathic Medical College. Now I request the moderator to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Hi, hello. Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. I'll be the moderator for today's session where I will be hosting two of my teachers for you to listen. Once Mustafa Kemal Atatürk has famously said, a good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light the way for others. And here I would like to introduce the speaker for the first session, Dr. Professor Shripad Hegde. Okay, after 34 years of teaching countless number of students in the art and science of homeopathy, he recently retired from the services from Government Homeopathic Medical College, Bangalore. He has been an inspiration to many, including me, and it is rightly said that teachers affect eternity and no one can tell where their influence stops. He has presented 6 papers in international conferences and 37 plus papers in various national conferences. He has also been conferred with many awards, including the Aryabhatta International Award 2017, Dr. Mahendra Singh Memorial Best Teacher in the year 2018, and also Homeo Acharya Award in the 2018 for the services in the field of medicine, to name a few. He has been a voice on Radio Doctor of All India Radio and also a face on TV giving health talks and popular TV show Oggarne Dabbi giving health tips. In addition, he also has interest in the field of performing arts, Yakshagana, in which he has been transforming himself into various mythological characters, captivating and engrossing the spectator in the surreal world of colors, costumes, music, and dance. Presently, he is the president of Karnataka Qualified Homeopathic Doctors Association, Bengaluru, and also director of Tattva Homeopathic Research Center, Bangalore. Today, sir will take us along a qualitative research on anemia in patients with diabetes mellitus. A note to all participants, the speaker will take questions at the end of the session. Sir, we would love to hear from you. Over to you, Dr. Shripad Hegde.
Thank you, Dr. Kamath. I am audible clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. This is my pleasure today where I have invited to share my experience and knowledge on certain fields from Father Muller Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, Mangalore. The name for human service from Ages Together, that is Father Muller. And with respect to all the administrator, Father Muller, as well as principal and staff, and my dear students, I think we'll discuss something about anemia in diabetics. I hope you will enjoy and you will participate with me, sharing my knowledge. And this is visible, sir?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. Yeah, it's my pleasure. And this Father Muller platform is not new for me. Maybe on the this network platform, it's the first time I'm with Father Muller. Otherwise, since many years, I'm the part and parcel of so many activities of Father Muller's. That is my pleasure. Today, I have invited to share something. And today being a Sunday, there are so many webinars which is jamming each other. Let us share some idea, the qualitative research on anemia in patients with diabetes mellitus. Management of anemia in patients with diabetes mellitus is a small pilot study where They started with the 10 number of patients. Now at present, I am having more than 30, 35 patients. My target is to reach around 100. Then we could be able to give better idea, but still a small study. Let us discuss about that. And before going to that, see, many you might have been not noticed or noticed also, you might have not concentrated on that. Majority, 80% of the diabetic patients, once they are diabetic, whether it is a diabetic insulin dependent or otherwise also diabetic 2, where patients are suffering from anemia. This is one of the very important issue where we have to give some attention. Anemia, as per World Health Organization, anemia is a condition in which the number of red blood cells or the hemoglobin concentration within them is lower than the normal. Hemoglobin is needed to carry oxygen, and if you have too few or abnormal red blood cells or not enough hemoglobin, there will be a decreased capacity of the blood to carry oxygen to the body. The results in symptoms such as fatigue, weakness, dizziness, and shortness of breath, among others. Many times where it is confused with where all these things may be manifestation of diabetes also, because the fatigue, weakness, dizziness, all these things are part of diabetes, but along with that, anemia also may be there. The optimal hemoglobin concentration needed to meet physiologic needs varies by age, sex, elevation of residence, smoking habits, and pregnancy status. The most common causes of anemia include nutritional deficiencies, iron deficiency, deficiencies in folate, deficiency of vitamin B12 and A, hemoglobinopathies, and infectious diseases such as malaria, tuberculosis, HIV, and parasitic infections. See, these infections very common where we find anemia, but before whatever the things I said, the deficiencies, that is very interesting factor. Many patients are suffering from these deficiencies. Of late, we are identifying that maybe because of their food habits as well as the nature of living. Pernicious anemia is a decrease in red blood cells that occurs when the intestines cannot properly absorb vitamin B12. I think all of you know that, though it is a known fact, but still maybe a refreshing your memory. Causes for pernicious anemia is a type of vitamin B12 anemia. The body needs vitamin B12 to make red blood cells. You get this vitamin from eating foods such as meat, poultry, shellfish, eggs, and dairy products. A special protein called intrinsic factor helps your intestines absorb vitamin B12. This protein is released by cells in the stomach. When the stomach does not make enough intrinsic factor, the intestine cannot properly absorb vitamin B12. Common causes of pernicious anemia include weakened stomach lining, where atrophic gastritis, an autoimmune condition in which the body's immune system attacks the actual intrinsic factor protein or the cells in the lining of your stomach that makes it. See, here is a chart. You could be able to identify what are all the causes for anemia: excessive bleeding, leaky gut, low stomach acid. Try to understand these factors, which will lead to the later ulcer or any other things which could not be able to absorb the vitamin B12. Iron deficiency, where B12 deficiency, folate deficiency, poor diet. This is very important, where it has been shown what we eat or what the present generation eats. Many times it is very poor only. Maybe it stimulates or irritates the taste buds more, but for the body it is not good. And chronic diseases of any nature, maybe of any origin in the body, and intestinal disorders which could not able to absorb the folic acid or vitamin B12 or the essentials of the other vitamins which may be responsible for anemia, and infections and kidney diseases and liver disease, thyroid disorder during pregnancy, and enzyme deficiencies and autoimmune disorders. And to understand this category and examples of causes, what are the causes for anemia? The increased loss of blood volume or red cells, increased destruction of red cells, So try to understand one is a manufacturing, another one is utilization, another one is loss. Decreased production or differential of red cells or miscellaneous causes. The examples of causes are like acute hemorrhage of varied causes, gastrointestinal bleeding, autoimmune hemolytic reaction, drug-induced hemolysis, bone marrow failure, disruption of the supply of raw materials involved in erythropoiesis, erythropoietin deficiency, like end-stage kidney disease and many renal failures. We see very commonly that anemia of chronic disease, a cancer, or maybe the infections like HIV. And of late, I could able to add to this that these COVID infections also. And anemia. See, this we could able to identify the red in severe anemia, where symptoms we could able to identify eyes, yellowing of the eyes, the pale eyes, or conjunctiva pale, or central nervous system issues of fatigue, dizziness, fainting, and blood vessels, low blood pressure, skin paleness, coldness, yellowing, and respiratory, the shortness of breath and difficulty in breathing on exertion, the patient finds difficulty, and muscular weakness, chest pain, angina, palpitations, rapid heart rate, and heart attack, like maybe the ischemic or otherwise also, intestinal, changed stool color, which is the intestinal bleeding. It may be a micro or a macro bleeding, where enlargement of the spleen, even sometimes we see the enlargement of liver also. And this is another chart which showing from the heart, where directly it has shown the cachexia, cytokines, IFN and IL-16, as well as IL-6, macrophages, chronic inflammatory state, and there is a circle where hepatic involvements, ferriprotein, iron retention in macrophages and hepatocytes, iron absorption difficulties, see the iron availability in erythroid progenitors, and functional iron deficiency. Like that, where in this we see where renal changes, renal blood flow, where glomerular filtration rate is affected with a peritubular POT and HIF, erythropoietin synthesis and response, and we find erythropoiesis in bone marrow, which has a direct impact. See like that, where angiotensin release and SAR, histokinase, see anorexia, malabsorption, bleeding from the gastrointestinal tract, which is absolute iron deficiency. And see, with all these things where the fluid retention, this also will have a hemodilutions and which causes anemia. See, so nicely in this figure, in brief or in short, it is explained. Then we'll come back to our study, where anemia is one of the world's most common preventable conditions, yet it is often overlooked, especially in people with diabetes mellitus. Diabetes-related chronic hyperglycemia can lead to a hypoxic environment in the renal interstitial, which results in impaired production of erythropoietin by the peritubular fibroblasts and subsequent anemia. See, in this, anemia in patients with diabetes mellitus might contribute to the pathogenesis and progression of cardiovascular disease and aggravate diabetic nephropathy and retinopathy. I hope you are following me. An emphasis on regular screening for anemia, alongside that for other diabetes-related complications, might help to delay the progression of vascular complications in these patients. The elevation of pro-inflammatory cytokines plays an essential role in insulin resistance and induces the appearance of cardiovascular complications, diabetic, micro and macrovascular kidney diseases, and anemia. By increasing especially IL-6, interleukin-6, anti-erythropoietic effect occurs since this cytokine changes the sensitivity of progenitors to erythropoietin, erythroid growth factor, and also promotes apoptosis of immature erythrocytes, causing a decrease further in the number of circulating erythrocytes and consequently causing a reduction of circulating hemoglobin. Due to the development of diabetes mellitus, the nephropathy may arise, which further undermines the renal production of erythropoietin, positively contributing to an increased anemic framework. Approximately 40% of diabetic patients are affected by kidney diseases. Many times it is identified before the complication as a renal complication. What you see in the diabetic patients, they suffer from anemia. If you correct the anemia in the beginning stage itself only, I think we could able to avoid or we could able to postpone the diabetic renal disorders. The decreased renal function and pro-inflammatory cytokines are the most important factors in determining reduction of hemoglobin levels in those patients. The inflammatory situation created by kidney disease also interferes with intestinal iron absorption and mobilization of inventories. Why I say this? See, many times we just concentrate on creatinine level and other renal function tests instead of concentrating or giving some attention to the anemia in diabetic patients. Therefore, diabetic patients with kidney disease have the highest risk for developing anemia. Diabetes often leads to kidney damage, and failing kidneys can cause anemia. See how it is interrelated. Try to make a note of this. Healthy kidneys know when your body needs new blood cells. They release a hormone called erythropoietin, which signals your bone marrow to make more. Damaged kidneys don't send out enough erythropoietin to keep up with your body needs. Then often people don't realize they have a kidney disease until it's very far along. But if you test positive for anemia, it can be an early sign of a problem with your kidneys or the patient's problem. That's why where you could able to see the small figure which is showing how the effect will be there with the erythropoietin changes which takes place where hypoxia means less oxygen to the kidneys, which will lead to this erythropoietin promotes production of mature blood cells in the bone marrow. More red blood cells in the circulation leads to increased oxygenation and lower levels of hypoxia inducible factor suppressing erythropoietin production. So how that will have an impact on the bone marrow. See, erythropoiesis changes. The hypoxia inducible factors is degraded under conditions of normal oxygen tension, but in anemia of hypoxia, it promotes gene transcription of erythropoietin necessary for maturation of red blood cells. Iron is necessary as well for red blood cell production. Its absorption and transport are also promoted by hypoxia inducible factors. World Health Organization guidelines recommend an investigation of anemia when the hemoglobin concentration is less than 12 gram per dilution in women and less than 13 in men. Using this definition, nearly 1 in 4 patients with diabetes, means almost say 23 to 25% of diabetes have anemia warranting or requires evaluation or a detailed study. The study is taken up to find the effectiveness of homeopathy in the management of anemia in diabetes mellitus because anemia is a common complication of diabetes mellitus and an independent contributor to the pathogenesis and progression of other diabetes-related complications. See, here the method is adopted. 10 cases were selected from OPD of my practice who were fulfilling the following criteria. Known cases of type 2 diabetes mellitus under treatment who also suffer with anemia with hemoglobin below 9 gram per dilution without any diabetic complications requiring other forms of treatment. The selected cases were treated homeopathically using the Similimum based on the totality of symptoms, and the results were tabulated after 6 months of treatment. The outcome was measured using tail parity test using mean and standard deviation. And the result is where chart of diabetic patients suffering from anemia who is on anti-diabetic treatments treated with homeopathic medicine for anemia. See, this is a chart. I think we could able to see before treatment and after treatment of the patients who are suffering, the 10 patients record is here in front of you. Number 1, fasting and postprandial blood sugar and hemoglobin percentage. All these things have been mentioned. See, 121 was the fasting blood sugar and 168 was postprandial. 8.2 was the hemoglobin percentage. After treatment, we could able to identify. See, the sugar level may not be much changes, but in the hemoglobin percentage, you could able to find the changes. And at the end, constitutional medicine which has given to the patient has been mentioned here. The China was the medicine, and the second patient, it was 8.1 hemoglobin percentage, and which has increased to 12, where the acid phos was a remedy. And in the third patient, 7.9 was the hemoglobin percentage, and it increased to 11, where argentum nitricum was a remedy for that patient. And fourth patient, 8.9 was the hemoglobin percentage, and it has increased to 11.5. Lycopodium was a remedy. And the fifth patient, 8.3 was hemoglobin, then it has increased to 11.8. Phosphorus was a remedy. And sixth one, 8.4 was the hemoglobin percentage, it has increased to 11.6. The seventh patient, you could see 7.8, which has increased to 11.2. Eighth one, 8, it has increased to 12.5. The phosphorus was a remedy. And the ninth was 7.8, which has increased to 12, where the ferromet is used as a remedy. And again, the 10th patient, 7.4 was the hemoglobin, which has increased to 12.4. This is a small chart of the 10 patients. Now at present, I have more than 30 patients because it requires a lot of time as well as years together. We have to observe. There are so many drawbacks are there. Many patients, they don't continue the treatment. Many, they will run away and we may not get the proper data. It's very difficult to do any sort of such studies. See, this is a chart. Could able to see hemoglobin before as well as hemoglobin after the treatment, comparative value of hemoglobin before intervention and after in type 2 diabetes mellitus. See, this is another chart where statistical evaluation, the means of hemoglobin value group 1 and group 2 are significantly different at P level less than 0.05. See, mean in the group 1 8.08 and group 2 11.76 and variance 0.1662, which has been made 0.2316 and standard deviation 0.40772 to 0.4812. The T values minus 16.1785, degrees of freedom 9, critical value 1.833. The absolute value of the calculated T exceeds the critical value, is 16.1785 is more than the 1.833. So the means are significantly different. Thus, we can conclude that the treatment is effective in the management of anemia in patients with diabetes mellitus. See, these studies are required actually the years together observation and follow-up and investigations. See, there is a lot many works are there. Now we will discuss 1 or 2 cases which has been treated during the course of the study, which may be very interesting. First case, a female patient, 47 years old, where the case has been taken on March 25th, 2017. Known case of type 2 diabetes mellitus since 5 years. Known case of anemia since 3 years. Because see, where I am practicing in Bangalore, we have an advantage that many times patients will come with bundles of investigations in their hand. And it's very difficult where we have to give a sufficient time to go through that, how the evaluation has taken place, how the manifestations started, what to concentrate, whether concentrate on diabetes, concentrate on anemia, or along with that, so many other manifestations are there. Here, what I'm going to discuss, which has been actually more than anemia, there were so many other things which were the positive factors as well as disturbance for the patient. The mild vertigo since 2 years, severe weakness for 2 years, irregular menses since a year, and vertigo on and off for 6 months. See, though it looks like all the vague complaints, but many are hidden problems are these. Here the patient is diabetic for 5 years on allopathic treatment. The glyciphage 500 mg, morning 1 and night half. Great exhaustion, weakness, giddiness on and off, sensation of heat, hot flashes, menses, sometime early, sometime late, excessive flow, black, thick, with mild pain in lower abdomen, bleeding per rectum 4 to 5 days before menses. So watery. See, this is an important information where initially the patient has not noticed. After a year, she said, I don't know since when that is happening. But 4 to 5 days or a week before the menses, the hemorrhage takes place from the rectum. That was one of the very important manifestation to identify the remedy as well as take care of the patient, or that is the cause for loss of blood. There are two reasons are here. One is patient is already diabetes, and another thing may not be fully under control, and another thing where she is at the age of menopause, and along with that irregular periods with heavy flow, more than 9 days, 10 days, where the flow continues, all these things, there is a loss. Naturally, the patient will suffer from anemia. Vertigo on and off, sensation to fall in the morning and in the bed. See, this is because of the low sugar level or because of the anemia or because of where low blood pressure. It's very difficult to identify because the patients, unless and until they develop a proper symptoms, many times they don't identify what is their problem, how to approach, to whom, what to say, whether they have to consult the endocrinologist or they have to consult the gynecologist or they have to see any proctologist or they have to see you. But unless and until you take a confidence of the patients, it's very difficult to withhold the patient also for the treatment. And the second point, as in a practice I identified, unless and until you give a relief also, they will not stay with you. See, she had 3 conceptions. First one, so full-term normal delivery, and second was full-term cesarean section due to breech presentation. Third, where they have made an MTP the 3rd month. Father diabetic, the history says very clearly. Mother hypertensive, has a heart complaints. Then, so more to give a light on that, the menstrual history, the menses are irregular for 1 year. Earlier it was regular. Now it's a heavy flow for 7 to 8 days sometime with clots. See, you could able to see the last 2 periods when the patient was reporting LMP 10-8 and immediately where 19-7 it has taken place. See, where within the 3 weeks time where the patient has had a severe flow, then naturally there is a blood loss will be there. It may be because of the hormonal changes which is taking place as patient is in the age of menopause. Now, early for 3 weeks or sometime 35 to 40 days where she didn't get a period. Each time heavy flow, whether it is a 40 days also heavy flow, or if it is happening at the 20-21 days also the heavy flow. And this is actually coming down by lying down, where she takes absolute rest, it ceases. Otherwise, the flow continues. For last 6 months, or a bleeding per rectum where she has been noticed and she was complaining before the period that happens. And what is the nature of bleeding? The watery, dark, red hemorrhage before, maybe during also, she could not able to notice. During means during menses, also she may be having a bleeding per rectum where she could not able to notice that. There's a fatigue and giddiness 1 week before the period and there is no leukorrhea. See, this is a very simple personal history where she is a vegetarian with a good appetite, thirsty, desires and aversions, there is nothing specific. She perspires more, where maybe the menopause symptoms where she could not able to identify very clearly, but still she sweats more. Urination 3 to 4 per day. See, the night time she is passing more and there is no burning or any problems. Stool is constipated, bleeds before the menses, this already I have told you. Disturbed or a reduced sleep, nothing significant in the dreams and habits, nothing. The patient is empithermal. And to say that the life space investigation, say the patient was born and brought up in a middle class Marwari family She lives in a joint family who has some business. All their family members have a less education. Why she said very clearly like that? Because she has completed graduation. Sometimes she talks with me in English. It was very interesting. And she has more responsibilities of her children and in-laws, tired of adjusting with two co-sisters. Just imagine a joint family of managing the in-laws or convincing them. See, husband is bothered about the profit and loss of his business. He never bothered about the other matters in the family. See, the once happened the same thing where the husband came with her, where he was complaining on his wife. No, she is not giving me a sufficient ghee or some deep boiled, deep, what is it, the oily fried food and deep fried food and all these things. These Marwadis have what a habit, you know. See, and they say also, हम लोग अगर कुत्ते को रोटी डालते तो भी घी डाल के डालते. These are all the dialogues usually they talk, and he was a person like that. But she was worried because his cholesterol level was, say, somewhere his triglyceride was more than 400. See, just you can imagine. See, she is resisting, but he complains to mother-in-law. As we say, the mother-in-law is bossing in nature, and fear of blood loss and giddiness. See, in all these things, she has to manage, convincing all these co-sisters, mother-in-law and husband. She has to come to clinic to take the medicine. This is very interesting. They are not bothered. Okay, वो सभी होते रहता है, कुछ नहीं होता है. हर औरत को होता है खाली पीली, तुम खाली पीली दवा लेते हैं. See, these are all the dialogues they used to talk naturally. It tortures and disturbs. The patient is conscious, cooperative, well-oriented with time, place, and person, weakly built and nourished, graying hair, healthy scalp, conjunctiva pale, sclera muddy, buccal cavity pale, gum pink, healthy, tongue coated white. Maybe this is in a typical classical case taking pro forma, because what I came to know that many juniors as well as students are attending the session. It may be useful for them. BP 130 by 90 millimeter of mercury of right arm in sitting position, pulse 78 beats per minute, regular, weak vessel wall, not palpable, respiratory rate 21 breaths per minute, temperature 99 at the time of examination, respiratory system where normal vesicular breath sounds, cardiovascular system, see it is normal. Only the abdomen you could able to see the tenderness on, epigastric region, mild enlargement of spleen, the nervous system, nothing else identified. See, this is the chart of her hemoglobin as well as fasting blood sugar and postprandial blood sugars. Since then, 25,317, you could able to see the different levels. It was 9, 8.6, 9.2, 10, 10.6. Means after the treatment, how it started improving, you could able to see that from the 9, it came to 12, and it is maintained after that. Now, how it can be analyzed? See, mental general, where the mild, gentle, lean, thin constitution, where ambithermal, sympathetic, sensitive, concerned about husband's health, hot sensation, hot flashes with chilliness, where uterus, menorrhagia, irregular menses, more flow, watery, thick, black, scissors on lying, bladder, urination, incomplete feeling, fear of disease, fear of falling, vertigo, sensation to fall on waking. Miasmatic analysis. Now I think you have heard the whole case. Now you could able to tell me what is the miasmatic background of this patient. Anybody is indicating? Sora? Psychosis? Tubercular? Then what is the remedy? Anybody suggesting any remedies? They are writing. repertorial totality, you could able to see the menses, irregular, all these rubrics have been selected. Copious, hemorrhage from anus, anemia, heat, flushes, chilliness, menopause, urination incomplete, fear, vertigo with the Kent's repertory, where repertorization have been done, and this is the repertorial chart. You could able to see what are the remedies of calm: lachesis, calcarea, sepia, anaxomica. See, this is the repertorial result, where lachesis, calcarea carb, sepia, anaxomica, phosphorus, sulfur. Then, see, these are the follow-up, 25/3/17, where I started initially with that because where there was a lot of confusions were there, and thinking that there is a loss of blood, watery, painless flow, which is there. Initially, there was not a settling in menopause. Then I thought China may help, but when the things are started getting cleared, except the patient is chilly, remaining all the things matches with lachesis, and lachesis started from 15/4/2017. Along with that, to stop the bleeding, I have taken the help of Thalapsi bursa pastoris, mother tincture, till it bleeds. Maybe some 3-4 course of this, which has helped the patient. Repeatedly it has been taken, and in between taken help of some iron capsules also, because where there was a fall of hemoglobin, which was troubling her, to support that, and in between she had an epistaxis, where ammonium carb I have given to take care of that for 2-3 days, and lachesis in frequent doses helped and improved the patient. And see, 22/1/2018, again the patient came back with, she says that 5 months back menses stopped fully. She's feeling comfort. But the latest, I will tell you, she still they are coming for some other minor ailments and complaints and other things. This June 12, 2020, where this COVID lockdown has started, and after that, she came with a new complaint that spotting after coitus for 3 months on and off this happens. This is actually now a worrying matter for me. She has a so strong hemorrhagic tendency. You could able to see the bleeding from uterus, bleeding from anus, bleeding from nose. Now it is another new thing where now I have to rule out any CA cervix or any other such matters are there with that, because no other symptoms have been seen. This is a new challenge. I think you could able to suggest me what can be done for this, because this is a new problem. But though I have given the medicine, anybody suggest any medicine? Or you can share your medicines later, or I will tell later. Let us keep that, what medicine I have started now, we'll tell later. See, this is a one thing what I would like to share with you, where then the father of your Father Muller Institutes, he was giving an award to our Government Homeopathic Medical College students, first prize. See, I am standing with them. One is Dr. Kiran Bhatt and Dr. Radha. See, the All India Homeopathic Medic Quiz, 1995, exact 25 years back. See, I brought these 4 girls from Government Homeopathic College for the I think you could able to remember this fellow as the quiz master who is sitting on the right, and this is Joseph sir, who was a founder principal of your college, because I remember so lovely personality and so encouraging the youngsters. And one incident also, I think in between the case I will share with you. Otherwise, afternoon session sometimes is boring, you get to sleep also. Where in the 1986, yeah, if I'm right, in the Bangalore there was a national conference and he was there. And I was too fresh and young doctor, where I presented a paper. And after that, during lunch session, he asked me, no, you are good. Why don't you join Father Muller as a teacher? That was his offer. Then I said, you have many lengthy procedures, no, sir. He said, no, I will cut short the procedure for you. I have seen you. My test is over for you. If you are interested, you join. He have offered me. And that was, I think, Father Muller was his dream or the visual child, which is growing now with all the way in the big way. I congratulate. From then to now, up till that, who has brought the Father Muller to this extent of getting a good high standard in the education as well as hospital and other things. Okay, let us continue with the one more case. Maybe more interesting than the previous, because each case will be interesting, or this is interesting for each and every person who are all there in the practice. Because as even acute case, chronic case, or any such cases are been there, they are all good for the study. See, however it is, the cases and whatever the challenges are there, we have to accept it. See, here, Mr. Raju, 57 years, from Tumkur, a middle class family, and this case is taken on 5/9/2017. Known case of type 2 diabetes mellitus since 10 years. Known case of hypothyroidism since 10 years. Severe sneezing and coryza since 6 years. Severe weakness for 5 years. Abdominal pain for 5 years. Buzzing sound in right ear for 2 years. Varicosity of veins in the bilaterally, means the lower limbs, both the lower limbs, for an year. See, you don't ask me which part has been left, sir, in this, because he has been suffering from all these, the majority of the things, for more than 7 to 8 years. Non-diabetic, he was on allopathic tablet, daily 1, sometimes increases, and hypothyroidism, and he is on Thyronorm 100 mcg. See, complaining of drowsiness, fatigue, severe weakness, severe sneezing, running nose on and off since 6 years, aggravation early morning, dust, winter season, amelioration by warmth, associated with decreased perception of smell. See, gastritis, gradual onset, untimely food habits may be the cause, because by profession he is a high court advocate. Anemia, complaints of weakness, prostration, gastritis, severe burning and pain in stomach with hot sensation, distension of abdomen and loss of appetite. He was afraid to eat because if he eats, he feels he may vomit and again he may become more weak. Aggravation 3 to 4 a.m. after eating warm food. Amelioration, drinking water, and there is no vomiting. On and off attacks of giddiness comes, and this giddiness at night, in the morning, and buzzing sound in the ear. See, he was on Thyronorm glycomet, he said. Many allopathic medications have been taken for the gastric complaints with no relief. See, the GAVE, this is one of the procedures usually gastroenterologists or gastric surgeons, they do to stop the intestinal bleeding or the bleeding from the gastric mucous membrane. That is called GAVE, gastric antral vascular ectasia, with endoscopic banding done on 7/5/2016. Just to imagine what is the severity of the bleeding, means there is a micro bleeding which is taking place in the gastric mucosa, which they are supposed to stop. Unless and until they stop, patient cannot be improved. He had anemia when he came to me. Actually, it was 7, but he says that it has gone down to the 6.5, and he has taken almost 2 to 3 times the blood transfusion. And even they have done the gastric lavage and history of moderate edema of both the lower limbs with mild varicosity. See, this edema is due to the varicosity or due to anemia. There's a lot of multiple contributions are there for all the complaints. See, he had undergone blood transfusion 2 to 3 times. Again, they advised him actually when they came there. See, these are all some of the investigations where gastroenterologist Dr. Naresh Bhatt, he was treating him. He says that I have done all my best to help you. I don't know what time I have to go for a surgery. Well, let us try to wait. That was his approach. See, this is a endoscopy, gastroscopy, many times they have done. And the family history, grandfather was diabetic, Father was diabetic, mother hypertensive, has heart complaints, wife is suffering from hypothyroidism, daughter is suffering from autoimmune urticaria. You could able to see what all the things are there in the genes. And is a vegetarian, good appetite, but he cannot eat, nothing specific, no desire, nothing specific, urination 3 to 4 times, not burning, constipated, and is epithermal. There is no much specific to say in the personal history. And the life space investigations, patient was born and brought up in a middle class family of a farmer. He had irregular food habits during his higher education. He was sensitive and choosy in his diet. Being an advocate in the beginning of his practice, he had disturbed food habits and was consuming more tea and coffee. He is more concerned about his clients and family members. He has more attachment with friends and their family members. See, this attachment is more. The general physical examination, patient is conscious, cooperative, well oriented with time, place and person, moderately built and nourished. Graying hair, conjunctiva pale, sclera muddy, buccal cavity is pale and gum pink, healthy, coated tongue. No signs of clubbing, cyanosis, icterus or edema. What was the mild edema I said, but where pallor was strongly indicated, no lymphadenopathy. Blood pressure was 130/86. Pulse 76 beats per minute, regular rhythm, bounding, vessel wall not palpable. Respiratory rate was 20 breaths per minute. Temperature was 98.6. Normal vesicular breath sounds, S1, S2 heard, and poor abdominal tenderness on epigastric region is very prominent, and mild enlargement of spleen and liver both is palpable. See, this is the the nosological diagnosis. You can see type 2 diabetes mellitus, hypothyroidism, allergic rhinitis, erosive gastroduodenitis, pernicious anemia, venous disease, varicose veins. So what? Now we have to correct this person, and there is a challenge for us whether homeopathy could be able to correct this person without surgery, and whether his hemoglobin can be improved, whether his anemia can be corrected, and if the anemia is corrected, half of his problem may be solved. See, and later we could be able to see the other things. See, these are the TSH values in the different dates. There's a lot of fluctuations. You could be able to see 28.65, 21.5. Then it came to low. They have changed the medicine again. 7.15, 10.6, 3.2. So a lot of fluctuations were there. This is a fasting as well as postprandial blood sugar. Hemoglobin. See, this is all. See, after blood transfusion, once it shows more, again it comes down. 11.6 on 16/6/2017. See, these are all some of the investigations. You can see this is Doppler test where lower limb varicosity has been identified, and this is gastroscopy. See, gave bending done on this date where 7/5/2016. See, these are the, because we brought all the reports, and it has taken a lot of time to go through all these things to understand where is wrong, what is wrong, how to be corrected. See, gastric antral vascular ectasia, scarring distal body of the stomach. Then what is the miasmatic understanding of this patient? Which miasm? So both the remedies, I think later you will tell. And please tell me what is the remedy can be given for this patient. See, this is analysis of the case where mild and gentle person where constipation, stomach pain, epithermal, sympathetic, aggravation eating after, sensitive, ablation drinking water, concerned about other suffering, burning with hot sensation, sneezing, aggravation early morning, winter season, dust, budging in the right ear. See, follow up, you could able to see prescription on 5/9/17, I gave Kalicarb. I hope all you agree with me, because where the prominent modality was there, the aggravation by 3 to 4 a.m. Then what happened? There was no change. When I have to restudy again, patient came with asking, sir, again hemoglobin is going down and I'm feeling weak. And our doctor says that if you are not improving, we have to go for a surgery. See, again, the case has been revised: unstable circulation, sensitive to changes in temperature, respond to reassurance and grateful sensitively, because he has got a sufficient patients to tolerate as well as wait. That is an advantage where you can continue in such patients. Otherwise, it's very difficult. They will run away. He likes to speak. Many of his intimate friends, anorexia with eructation of food, unexplained prostration, violent burning pain behind the sternum and stomach, as if heavy weight in stomach. Now, I'll give a clue that which medicine may be helpful. Like this irritates, inflames, degenerates the mucous membrane, disorganizes blood, causes fatty degeneration of blood vessels, tissues, giving rise to hemorrhages, means hemorrhagic tendency. Picture of destructive metabolism. That is a typical history we see. That is the remedy for this patient. See, repertory totality, the pain, burning, eating after, pain, night. See, these are all the symptoms have been taken for the repertorization. See, I hope you could able to see the picture where the list of remedies came: Naxomica, phosphorus, lycopodium, calcarea, and carbovage. See, repertory result is this: Naxomica, phosphorus, lycopodium, calcarea, carbovage, sulfur, nitramur, Kalicarb. Now, I think now we are coming to some clear picture. What are all the similar remedies came? Now we can identify the simillimum. See, Naxomica being a superficial acting acute remedy, that may not be much useful. Then phosphorus is a remedy where I have started the phosphorus. See, you could able to see on 5/10/17, phosphorus has started. Sneezing, running nose, he could able to see the hemoglobin percentage slowly started improving. 10.4 it came. It's a better. The follow-up is interesting, where the phosphorus 1 m has been given. In between, for some minor complaints where I have taken the use of Naxomica, hemoglobin, you check it, 9/12/17, where 10.8, fasting blood sugar was good, BBBS okay, and complain of pain on and off in the epigastric region. That continues. Throughout the course of medicine, patient was complaining some vague pains here and there, that was continuing. And on 5/1/18, the left side of the abdomen is a pain, he complains. See where colocynth has been taken for the support to reduce his abdominal pain, where phosphorus again repeated, and in between, see, you could able to see the hemoglobin percentage where it was 10.8 on 9/12/17, which came down to again 8. See, 23/1/18, where China has been tried. See, which came down 3/3/18, 7.1. This is the point where I supposed to give up the patient, and really I was worried, and patient was putting a lot of pressure whether, sir, it's possible or no. All these days I have taken treatment, there was too much fluctuation. Again, it is going down. If it reaches 6.5, then I have to go for a blood transfusion. And this gastroenterology surgeon says that better you go for a surgery. Then during that time, I thought maybe there is a miasmatic block where cifalinum has been prescribed. See, first phosphorus gave for 3 days. After that, 15 days, cifalinum 1 m was given for 2 days. See, you could able to see the result. 14/4/18, patient started improving. 10.2, where see 11/5/18 is improved. 11.6. This is the fasting blood sugar and postprandial blood sugar. Phosphorus bleeder repeated. And 9/6/18 again. See, you could able to see the hemoglobin changes, how it is started improving. Means maybe the internal bleeding has stopped, and that was the constitutional remedy where he required an anti-miasmatic treatment, which the cifalinum might have helped him better to improve his or activate his vital force to take him to a good course of healthy. By that time, slowly I started reducing his thyronorm also. We are reduced to 50. Then he could able to manage with that. See, it means where the phosphorus has taken care of him for all purpose. See, 1918, you could able to see the feeling better with postprandial blood sugar as well as hemoglobin. TSH values also we could able to see. And he was on that. And in between, where there was a little higher of the fasting blood sugar and postprandial blood sugar, though the hemoglobin remains 12.6 only, where in between cesium drops have been taken help to correct the patients. These are all the some of the reports on 12/7/17, and this is the other report. You could able to see the 8.4 grams hemoglobin where it was going down, then slowly started improving. See, see 11.6, see 12.4 where fasting blood sugar 104. See, could able to see the hemoglobin fluctuations. See, he is the patient being a court advocate, and there is no issues of any law or privacy. He said, I am very happy I could able to share with you whatever the benefit he has got it. See, still now he is in touch with me. He comes for the follow-up and other his family members' problems, and he has maintained his health. See, I think you can hear from his mouth only. It's audible, sir?
I'm an advocate. Since 14
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. From gastric. And the last year, it converts it into ulcer. Then I went to take treatment at Aster Super Specialty Hospital, Bangalore. The doctor says that after thorough checkup, it is converts into chronic ulcer. Then, lastly, they have made 13 bandings in gastro system in 2 times. I have not recorded properly, and lastly, the third time I have been to take treatment at Aster. They have suggested that this is a chronic ulcer. Now, if the operation was not made, it may convert it into cancer. Then, at that time, my hemoglobin level is at 5.8%. Surprisingly, I have met Radha Shwarnareddy Akka of Bangalore, Evelvisha, asked me to meet Dr. Shripad Hegde, professor in homeopathy at GHMC Bangalore. I met the doctor along with Radhaka and the doctor counseling around 1 hour. Then the doctor gave me a treatment from that day. Gradually, within 3 months, I have lost my stomach pain and improves my hemoglobin level up to 9.8. Now, I have no pain at stomach and my hemoglobin level is at 12.8. The doctor cures my disease, that is chronic ulcer, It is a miracle of homeopathy.
I hope you heard from the patient only. A similar study needs to be taken up for a longer period with more number of individuals included in the study to be more valuable statistically and also to see in the long-term effect of homeopathic medicines in the treatment of anemia in patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus. Why I'm telling, I think I would like to use this platform to say that many practitioners are there, many institutes are there, we are doing and we are seeing day to day so many patients, but many times just we see and we forget it. Instead of that, if we could able to go on monitoring or recording the whatever the available informations are there or laboratory investigations are there, then we could able to make a sufficient big stock of data which may be convincing for the society as well as our next generation. See, now still I am continuing with this, what I said, now at 30-35 persons are there with me. See, that's what I say. Others also could able to take up, may not be only this disease or many diseases are there. See, if we had a sufficient record and data and treatment and all that values, today what we are all crying, please give us a permission to treat this disease, that disease. I think that would have been not developed since then. We know some 100 years or 1 year back, 100 years back, we have seen Spanish flu. Then we have identified the homeopathy was useful. So, well, they have controlled it. Now we are struggling hard to convince the authorities that it is useful, and maybe because we lack in our research or statistical informations or proper jointly representing, there are so many factors. I think if we join together, we could able to make a better option for the better proposals. This small study effectively concludes that homeopathy is effective in the management of anemia in diabetes mellitus, thus preventing the pathogenesis and progression of other diabetic related complications. Research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. Yeah, my sincere thanks to Father Muller Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, Mangalore, principal, staff, and organizers, especially Dheeraj and Dr. Madhav Kamath, Dr. Shiv Prasad, and many of my friends are there in the college. For all, I thank sharing your valuable time with me of the Sunday, heavy raining afternoon. That's a good time to talk with you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the audience? Sir, what was the last prescription for the first case? You said that you will tell later.
Yeah, no, anybody suggesting?
Nobody has suggested anything, but there was a question as well as you said conclusions.
No. If they have heard properly, they can suggest also. Now they might have referred by this time because no, that's a very interesting aphorism. Interesting rubric to identify in the repertory. It's very difficult. It's spotting. It's not a bleeding. It's just a spotting.
Yeah.
After the coitus.
Caution.
Yeah. That's why I thought I gave this much time, maybe more than half an hour.
So Ankita, open the repertory and tell no. Ankita is asking the question. I am asking to open the repertory and tell.
No, that is interesting. No, because these are all challenging things. See, okay, you try to identify or probable diagnosis, maybe a cancer of cervix, or there are so many other possibilities are there, or sometimes may not be also. See, very simple remedies like a arnica to a major bleeders, anything can be used. Arnica is also an injury to say that. But here, patient's history, earlier we have seen where patient has started with the menopausal symptoms and along with that bleeding per rectum, bleeding from nose, all these things where we don't know, so strong hemorrhagic tendencies there in the body. That's a little injury also. But other way to say that where the remedies, like what are all the remedies which is there in the menopause? Anybody suggesting anything? And
no, sir.
Chat box.
You are seeing the chat box now. Nobody is suggesting anything.
no, because this is an interesting thing. If the same patient is in front of them, then what they will prescribe?
Calcarea has come.
Because they don't get any other information, and patient is shy. Really, it's very difficult to say. Unless and until you gain a confidence that there is something wrong, you say, then only they will utter. Otherwise, they will go to a gynecologist or some lady doctor or something. But luckily, because other benefits she has got, and she could able to express, sir, please help whether I have to go undergo any investigation or anything is to be done.
Kushali is telling Nexomika, Cephalium manem.
So here first we have to stop the bleeding, then we could able to think. No, but I gave her actually where the graphitis I give for your information. I will tell you what I have given. You are interested, no? Somebody asked me, you said, no?
Yeah.
Graphitis. See, graphitis, lachesis, conium, calcarea, all these things will go together with the menopause, and deciding that maybe we are in the next stage of that verge of the hormonal changes. If you try to understand what changes takes place at the uterus or the cervix and all these things, then I think you will agree with me. And remedy varies. Okay. Yeah. Next. Now here some questions are there from. Okay, many they have
suggested the remedies, sir.
Here somebody
Lycopodium, Staphylococcus, calcarea to repeat after lachesis, after syphilinum.
No, there was a very interesting question, Dr. Madhav Kamath.
Yes, sir. What is her mental state?
No. What was her mental status during that? It's very difficult to. And we should interrogate. We should not go to that extent to interrogate the patient. Okay, if they express, you try to collect it. We don't go to that level. This is what my sincere experience I will tell you. Otherwise, if you ask such questions, next visit they will not come to you. I am very sure. Okay, Staphylococcus. No, these are all the whatever you are thinking. Maybe on certain grounds you are thinking that can be given. Okay, that's good. How I said initially, in both the cases where in the first prescription, I could not able to justify the patient. In the first, I said China. Or in the second case also, I gave Kalicar because I have been carried away by just concentrating 3 to 4 aggravation. But it is more deeper than Kalicar. Some other remedy was required. That was in need of that because pathology was so depth, like that. Then when we started phosphorus, he started improving. That's very interesting, Yeah, so somebody said lachesis and syphilinum can be given. Anything can be given by depending on the moment and situation where we have to decide the remedy. Anemia representations in SORA, syphilis, psychosis, tubercular miasm. Yeah, that is true. I am talking here somebody, I don't know their name, it is Galaxy. This name is not there. Somebody from Galaxy. Maybe, say, yeah, Galaxy, she is showing her face now. I don't know. You could able to identify. Madam, see, anemia is there in all the miasms. That's why we said pertaining to the case we decide what is the miasm in that case, not by deciding the anemia, okay? There is a good question to discuss. And both the cases where, what is the miasm? Both cases, anybody has mentioned which miasm? I have asked the question, no? But both were syphilitic in their nature.
No, first this one they said it is tubercular miasm, sir.
Yeah.
First case they said psychosis and tubercular, and second this one they have not mentioned anything about the miasmatic state.
Yeah. Both I'm telling no, the both are actually syphilitic in their nature. One is a deficiency, another one is a destruction, and which are going to a complications. That is a typical this thing. And I think from Chennai, Dr. Kushali Gambhir is asking calcarea or repeat of lachesis after syphilinum. I would have taken the help of that. There's a good suggestion. Madam, we accept it. See, because now the patient is improving. That's why I don't like to disturb many things. It's very sensitive issues, I will tell you. To treat this and keep the patient for a long period of 3, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years is not an easy job, I will tell you. Yeah. Then anything else, sir, you have noticed? Okay.
So one more question from my side, because this particular presentation has been onto the research aspect in homeopathy.
Yeah.
So what do you suggest, sir?
No. That's what I was telling. Many institutes what I have
And
observed,
many institutes are into research, but what happens is that the modern scientific methods of the research.
see what I say, the modern scientific method, you can adopt it, but unless and until you have a sufficient data. For example, I will tell you now at present situation only, all we are happy and comfortable with distributing the arsenic alb.
Yes, sir.
Just listen carefully. All we are happy. Why I am telling happy? Because we are more happy with taking a photo. Or we are distributing arsenic alb. To whom you have distributed? What happened to them? After that, any survey has been done. If any studies have been done, for all the persons you are giving a one standard potency and one medicine. See, then what happened to that? If tomorrow someone asks that, how you will answer for that? See, this is very simple question. If, for example, I will tell you in the Father Muller only, you have a sufficient good number of OPDs there. But any statistics have been maintained that these are all the cases of asthma we have treated for last 6 months with these are the remedies. These are the cases of anemia, or these are the cases of menstrual disorders with a fibroid uterus or without that, or in the menopause. Any such data are there. If we collect the data initially, we start doing that, naturally that will be a research stuff. Automatically, even modern science or whatever persons are there, who are all the authorities are there, we could able to say. But we are lacking in that. That's what I feel. And throughout India, I have observed, this is my observation, I'm not complaining on anyone. My observation is that we have put a label as a research centers. When any diseases comes, whether research centers contribution is there, anything in that? That is again questionable. See, if outsiders, they ask, no, in homeopathy, what are the, research work you have done in a different diseases? Please tell us, we will accept you. Otherwise, very simple, laymen also talk, why you are giving arsenic alb? Because arsenic alb of one company has become very famous in WhatsApp and the group. Many, they have consumed liters together, I know. They're asking me, sir, I am taking every day 10 drops, 2 times, 3 times, whether it is sufficient or shall I buy one more bottle? I said, you have consumed for your next life also, that's why stop it. That was my advice. See, like that, we are not guiding properly the society also. Where through the institutes, through the practitioners, even for example, many practitioners may be there, where they can also do the very simple study. This is how what I have shown now, the anemia. See, many practitioners can do that. See, that is not a big job. I hope, I think all will start that. Maybe it may be in the whole 5 years or 10 years of your practice, you can get all these informations and gather together. Then sometime when you get an opportunity, try to put that into a paper or publish in a good peer-reviewed magazines. Naturally, they will accept it. Then somewhere we could able to convince. And there is a saying, in Kannada, that is usually a trend. I have seen many times such activities. Then that we feel very sorry. And we have a laboratories. We do many sort of investigations. That all will go with the patient only. It is not recorded properly. Okay, so right or wrong with the allopathic medicine or with any other medicines. So what is the role of your medicine? See, I hope you got my point, where the research can be done, very simple observation, because I believe in all of you. You are all a good practitioner, you have a thorough knowledge, you could able to do many sufficient works. That's why you are all successfully practicing in your areas. So all are practicing. Maybe you are seeing 10 patients, another person may be seeing 100, another maybe person seeing some 500. That is not a criteria. But what type of patients you are seeing, what is the data, what are all the nature of diseases, what are the medicines you have given? I hope, I suggest or I advise to start today onwards only that collection of these informations. I hope after 6 months or 1 year, where Father Muller conducts such a webinar or a seminar or something, all they will come forward with some report. I request the authority to give them a permission to present their research works. Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? I think sir has been very clear about the research status in homeopathy and also advising and instructing us to keep the data of the patients whom we are treating and also collate them and present it. or make a presentation of
Yeah,
it.
that is more important, you know. Messi, I remember in one of the area in Andhra Pradesh where he is a very good practitioner. He has treated so many complicated cases, but he's a poor man. He could not able to talk in very good English. He cannot able to present it, but he has data. And somebody could able to nearby who are all there, they could able to help him, support him, take his all the datas or make him to see that how best it can be put it as a research work. Such activities also can be done. See, you have many good students from Father Muller. They are coming out with a research mind. This is what I heard. Huh? And it has been recognized by the NAC and NABH and all. Naturally, yeah, I expect from that. Okay, I wish all the students, if somebody is here, and all the teachers have a good day. Take care of your health in this COVID situation. And I thank you for all the organizers who has given me an opportunity of this lockdown situation. I could able to share something with you. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
And certainly,
Shweta, yes, sir? What, sir? What, sir?
No, certainly this is a beginning of our study, and jointly we could able to achieve many things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hope your presentation and your what do you say, the words of inspiration will inspire many of us to go into that and work towards the.
And one more word I will add, Professor Kamath. If anybody is really interested to do any such research work, certainly I will help them. I will guide them.
Okay, sir.
This is also
Okay,
I am
sir.
telling openly.
Okay,
See,
sir.
it is not just a talk. See.
No, sir. That is. I think that is the teacher in you telling us.
No, naturally that is required. Many students, they don't know what is to be done after completion of their course. They are go on practicing. Many are successful practitioners are there. Their thought process is different and they are success. But they don't have a proper guidance what is to be done next. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Shweta, vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. On behalf of the organizing team, Provision 2020, I express my gratitude and respect for our distinguished speaker, Dr. Shripad Hegde, for sparing his valuable time for us and enlightening us with his commendable presentation on qualitative research on anemia in patients with diabetes mellitus. Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank the moderator for today's session, Dr. M.K. Kamath. I would like to thank the administrator, Reverend Father Roshan Krasta, Principal Dr. Shiv Prasad K, and Vice Principal Dr. E.S.J. Prabhukiran for their valuable support for Provision 2020. I express my gratitude to the webinar organizing team headed by Dr. Dheeraj Fernandez, who has been working hard to make this webinar series a successful one. I finally thank all the delegates who have dedicated their time in being a part of this session actively. Dear delegates, today we have another session by Dr. S.K. Tiwari, former Director, NIH, Kolkata, former Principal of Father Muller Homeopathic Medical College, from 7:30 p.m. onwards. He would be presenting on the topic, Prescribing in Homeopathy. We have the best session coming up in the upcoming days. Stay tuned with us. Thank you all.